Hey everyone, how's it going? Been quite a while since my last video. Done a bunch of small stuff since then. Had COVID in November. Didn't really have it bad, but the worst part was the zapped energy. Just absolutely no ambition to come out here. I didn't even open the garage door for a little over a week. Just nothing. The tiredness is what really got me. But I've done some small stuff since then. And now back on to some more winter projects on the car. And this is what we're going to do, or what we have done. So, um, first thing, well, first thing I can't really show you is took this for a ride into downtown Utica to get my hair cut, and it was the second time out in the car to where I had to use heat. First time, heat worked good. Blower motor worked good. The second time, blower motor started making a hell of a racket. So I ended up having to tear the whole dash apart, get the heater box out, put a new blower motor in it, and did that while I was there, while I had the dash apart. Come over this side, and I pulled the cluster out again so I could put some LED bulbs in it, and much better, much easier to see this stuff. That right there is a vacuum gauge that's been in this car like forever. So even fixed the light in here, put a LED in this one. So all of those work. And new blower motor, that's all nice and quiet. And got the blower motor from O'Reilly's. Got the LED dash bulb kit from National Parts Depot in Canton, because they're just they're a pretty quick ride, like 45-50 minute trip, on the weekend. So it's nice to actually just go down there, because of course then you always end up buying more stuff because you're there. Bought the LED light kit. I did put in a brand new Motorcraft headlight switch, just because I already put in a dimmer switch, which was why the headlights weren't working, but that was an earlier video. So I figured, what the heck, we'll put a brand new headlight switch in it. Picked up a spare blower motor resistor. They do carry them for these cars. It's actually listed under 71 to 73 with air conditioning, I believe, and older ones with air. But I picked one up just in case this one was no good, or if I end up having issues. But this one was fine. And then they do have the plastic push retainer pins for the blower motor resistor. So I picked some of those up, because you pretty much destroy them pulling them out. So that's everything I've done inside the car. I did have one of the turn signal LED bulbs that they give you. They actually flash green. It fried right away. So I ended up with the Mustang dash cluster kit. You end up with some extra cluster bulbs, the white cluster bulbs. So I just used those in the turn signal spot, and they work. But I made a side trip over to National Parts Depot yesterday, and they warrantied out the bad green one. So one of these days I'll pull the trim back off. Luckily, I don't have to pull the cluster all the way out to replace those bulbs, because they're at the bottom. So I should be able to just remove the 4 screws for the cluster itself, slide it out some, and get my hand back there so I can replace those. But yeah, they very graciously, no problem, exchanged the bad bulb for me. So that's cool. So yeah, got all that stuff back in, and been messing around with some touch-up paint. Had some mixed up. The first batch, it was way too gold, and they mixed me up some new stuff at no cost. It's Automotive Touch-Up. They're online. I bought some stuff for my Escape one time, and that stuff was dead nuts on. But of course, this is older. The stuff they mix now is base coat, clear coat, but yeah, it was way off. So I sent them pictures of the original paint inside the door jamb, outside, and they mixed up some more. It's still lighter, but at least it's a lot closer and not gold. So plan is to sand the roof down and just spray some color on it so it's not rusty. And same thing with the hood, because the hood's a different color. It's not going to be even super close match, but it's going to be better than a silver hood on a brown car and a rusty roof on a brown car. So that said, with having the heater hoses disconnected, tightening them up a little bit, shorten them up, use these double zip ties that I got from work. They use them on Mack and Volvo trucks, and it kind of tidies it up nice, spaces them apart, nice evenly spaced. You know, it looks good. I have to do something to kind of bring them up a little up here. Originally, the heater hoses would run along here and then back and curve over and in. But, you know, if you pull an intake, pull a valve cover, you got to push them that way, pull them the other way to, you know, get them out of your way. So I ran them like this. So that's kind of nice. See, I already did the thing on the washer bottle. That works great. So that's where I'm at on what I've done. And I did get all the roof rail trim back in, new window seals, so it seals it up. One of the winter, actually more towards spring projects, will be replace this seal. I bought that from Auto Crafters, and some other stuff I bought. A nice street performance balancer, power bond balancer, nice, really nice quality balancer, good looking balancer. They do make a stock replacement balancer, and they make a race balancer, and the race balancer is actually SFI rated, and I used one of those on the Cleveland that was in my other 4-speed car, because that was a little more than stock, and that one spun above $6,000, so I put a SFI one in that one. This one, it got the street / performance. Very nice piece, nice markings, so that's going to go in. Got a feeling that the original has possibly slipped a little bit, might be a little off, and it's going to get driven hard a little bit here and there. So, and even if it's not spun now, it may spin a little bit in the future or start walking off. So the ring might start walking off the hub. So we got the new balancer to put that on, eliminate any issues. And it's getting, this is the current project while I'm in here today. It's getting new pads, new shoes, seals, rotors. Yes, I was actually able to score some rotors for this. 72 Torino is a 1-year only rotor because of the one bearing size. And scored a pair off Rock Auto after I got a notification that they were available. because they actually have a thing on there to be notified when something is available if it's out of stock. So I scooped up 2 rotors, which are actually on the shelf over there. A month or so later, I got a notification they were available again. So you know what? I said, the hell with it. I grabbed them. Grabbed the spare set. So I'll have a set on the shelf for another 72 Torino, Ranchero, whatever. But this is what it's getting today. Since I'm putting new rotors, figures I'd put new bearings in it. And the pads in this are who knows how old. No idea, but they're pretty damn old. And I ran them. They stopped fine. I figured since I'm putting new rotors on, we're going to put new pads on. And then I'm putting new rear shoes on because those are who knows how old. And I get a really bad brake noise when I apply the brakes, but only when I'm just that last little, 10, 20 foot rolling up to the light, rolling up really slow. I get a horrible, like a metal on metal kind of noise. And I've already replaced the rear drums. I took care of some other issues, and I was having a different noise before, and that pretty much went away. But I had a little bit of a vibration, and that ended up being, so I bought new drums, and that vibration ended up being because the weight, the welded on weight was missing off of one of the drums. So the drum was actually out of balance. So that's why I bought new drums, put new drums on it. But now I got this other noise, and I've already pulled it apart once. It looks all right. So I figured, let's just finish the job, because the rear already has all new hardware, all new adjusters. That was one of the very first things I did on this car was get the brakes work. So if you push it around, you could actually stop. It's got new wheel cylinders. Then I put the new drums on it. Figure, what the hell? Let's put some new shoes on it and be complete. It's got new lines. And then on the front, same thing. Doing new everything else. It's already got new hoses, new calipers. So let's put new pads on it, along with the new rotors and bearings and seals. So that's going to be this project starting today, is to get that done. And then while it's up in the air, I'm going to drain the fluid out of the trans, refill that with fresh, and then I'm going to pull the drive shaft while the trans is empty. I'm going to pull the drive shaft and replace the U-joints. They don't make any noise, but they are 20, 30 years old. I don't know. So we're going to throw some good Spicer U-joints in there and get that all taken care of, so it'll be all good to go underneath. And I'm going to put all the parking brake stuff back in the rear brakes, and I'll be ordering a new cable this winter, the big long one that goes from one side all the way up to the front and around to the other side. I'll be ordering that this winter and replace that so I have a parking brake. Another thing I ordered was, got a brand new high flow thermostat, Track Boss from T. Meyer. So we're going to put that in. Probably when, once it's back down on the ground and I do the balancer, I will probably do the thermostat too and get that done. Just some small wintertime projects. Got the heater going, and got a new parts washer. Well, not new to me, but got a good deal on the parts washer. So that's going to be nice. I use this. Main thing I do is carburetors. I rebuild carburetors, and this works quite well on the carburetors. I got a few more of these coming so I can fill this up more. The stuff I did use, I can still get. Safety Clean makes it, and it was a 5-gallon bucket of the old school wicked bad, causes cancer and everything parts and carburetor cleaner, and that stuff was wicked good. But figure enough dipping my hands into that stuff, so I changed over to this stuff by Gunk, and it works pretty good. So, and it's non-toxic, I think. But anyways, so that is what's going on now. Oh yeah, and on a side note, last year for Christmas, my girlfriend got me a couple of these nice 6-ton jack stands, so I can get the car a little farther up in the air without the old 3 tons being fully extended, which, you know, it's kind of sketchy, you know, with them being extended all the way. So she got me these. Well, she got me 2 more this year, and bought it off the Torino store off of Amazon. And this is how they ship it. They ship it right in this box. They don't put this box in another box. So then you get this, and you get this. Well, the first set looked like this also. Well, never had, you know, everything was there. There's really no small pieces to lose. They pack the bases in there just like that, and they put these in there separate. Well, guess what? I finally opened these the other night, and it's missing one of these. Probably came out through that spot right there. So that's wonderfully awesome. Not really. So she has an email into Torrin to see if they can just replace that one piece instead of doing a missing pieces return and resend on everything. You know, it'd be nice if they could just send that one piece that's missing that came out of the box. So with that being said, I am going to get to work getting this thing up in the air, get the wheels off, and start on the brakes. And so we have new rotors, bearings, seals, calipers, pads, and hoses. Both sides done on the front. And yes, done. So we're going to throw the front tires back on. And the front pads are Bendix SSTs. Rotors are Rebestus. There's the part number in case you're looking for some. But measuring the rotors with a dial caliper, which I know is not correct, you're supposed to use a micrometer, but measuring with a dial caliper, they measure out at 159, 160. Discard is 120. So sometime over this winter, I'll throw both the original rotors in the back of the truck, bring them up to the parts store in town, King Speed and Color Automotive. Great guys, great owner. Gary's the owner. You got Josh and Joe, and I take it up there and have him mic the rotors, and if they can be cleaned up and still be within spec, I'll have them turn them, and I will keep them as spares for something that's a 1 year only, and you know the stuff is kind of hard to get. You know, it doesn't hurt. Not that I wouldn't rather put new on, which I did, but you know what? If you turn them and they're within spec, ain't nothing wrong with that. It's what they used to do in the olden days, before everybody just buys rotors and trashes the old ones, tosses them in the trash. So on my newer stuff, I take them up and see if they can be turned. No sense in buying new rotors if they don't have to be. A lot of times new stuff can't. They're pretty much one use only. But you know what? I've done stuff on my stepdaughter's car, my girlfriend's vehicle, my vehicle. They've all been able to be turned. So anyways, and I'm saving the pads. Nothing wrong with the pads. They're still pretty thick. They're riveted pads. I keep those. The bearings, the rotors, the seals, keep them all as spares. You know, throw them on the shelf. You never know. who knows what I'm going to get down the road where I might, not have budget to buy everything new and brakes are toast. Throw that good stuff on there. I mean, the car stopped pretty good with those pads. Bearings are okay, nothing wrong with them. I just went with new rotors, so I figured I'd go with new pads. So, you have maybe, 50 miles on them, 50, 60 miles on, being redone, being cleaned up. So, but stopped the car fine. So that's it for tonight. I'm going to do the rears one night later this week, and we'll get that all taken care of. Then it's off to drain the trans and pull the drive shaft. See ya. Good night. Until we talk next time.